Imagine you are sitting all alone in a completely dark room, with only the cold blue light from your computer screen shining onto your face, casting shadows that highlight the lines of worry and curiosity etched across your features. Outside the window, the night sky is pitch black like ink, without a single cloud in sight, and there are billions of stars twinkling like countless eyes staring down at Earth from far away, distant and full of mystery. A chilly wind whistles through the gaps in the door, carrying faint howling sounds that seem like whispers from the endless void of space, making the hairs on your skin stand on end and sending shivers down your spine. And then, suddenly, a question explodes in your mind like thunder crashing in the middle of the night, echoing over and over without stopping. Where have all the aliens gone? This question is not new at all. It has haunted humanity for hundreds of years, starting from those long, freezing nights around campfires when our ancestors looked up at the sparkling sky and wondered if anyone was looking back at them, with the crackling sounds of the fire and the smell of burning wood filling the air, all the way to modern laboratories where computers hum constantly, keyboards clack rapidly, and scientists sit motionless in silence, their eyes glued to flickering radar screens, waiting for a single signal, just one faint signal that could change everything, coming from somewhere impossibly far away. Our universe has existed and evolved over an enormous span of time, 13.8 billion years, a number so vast that it makes you feel tiny and dizzy, as if time is an endless river rushing forward and we are merely grains of sand tumbling along the banks, swept away without even noticing. That is enough time for a speck of cosmic dust to transform into a solid planet, for stars to be born in brilliant glory and then die in terrifying explosions with blinding light and shockwaves spreading outward, for galaxies to spiral like gigantic whirlpools swallowing everything in their path with the cold whistling of cosmic winds. And if we consider the Kardashev scale, which is a way to classify civilizations based on how much energy they can harness, an idea proposed by the scientist Nikolai Kardashev back in the 1960s during the tense atmosphere of the Cold War, then any civilizations that came before us would have had plenty of time to reach the highest levels of power. Let me explain this in more detail, speaking in a lowered voice as if sharing a horrifying secret so you can picture it clearly. A Type 1 civilization would take about 7,000 years to achieve, meaning they control all the energy on their home planet, turning the howling winds across fields into electricity, the blazing sun into endless fuel, the bubbling geothermal heat into steaming hot vapor, transforming the entire planet into a massive machine running smoothly with the constant roaring of machinery. Then, moving to Type 2, it takes another 20,000 years, where they tame the energy of their entire star, building enormous structures like a Dyson sphere surrounding the glowing star, absorbing every ray of light and heat to sustain life with the clanging of metal, the fierce hissing of plasma, and machines operating without pause. Finally, Type 3, requiring up to 1 million years, at which point they dominate the whole galaxy, controlling billions of stars like colonies, traveling between solar systems as easily as we stroll through a park, with huge spacecraft gleaming with artificial light cutting through the cosmic darkness, capable of turning off a star with the press of a button amid earth-shaking explosions. But if everything aligns with that Kardashev scale, then by now, we should be seeing massive spacecraft gliding across the night sky with engines thundering, radio signals echoing from everywhere like constant whispers, or even alien colonies being built on distant planets with city lights blazing brightly. Yet the universe remains frighteningly silent, like a vast empty hall without a single soul, only the cold whispering of cosmic winds through the void, making you feel an eerie loneliness that chills you to the bone. Today, we will explore one explanation for this paradox together, known as the Fermi Paradox, but first, let us step back to understand the essential conditions for life to exist, because only then will you grasp how terrifying this contradiction truly is, like a punch straight to the heart. Look at our own lush green planet, Earth, with oceans sparkling under the golden sunlight, forests swaying gently in the breeze carrying the fresh scent of leaves, and clean air filled with the earthy smell after a heavy downpour of rain. We must admit, with a mix of pride and deep gratitude, that we are incredibly lucky beings in this immense universe, like winning the ultimate lottery among billions of tickets. Earth is positioned perfectly, not too close and not too far from the sun, where the temperature is just right for water, that miraculous liquid sustaining all life, to exist in liquid form, flowing calmly through rivers with the gentle gurgling sounds, still lakes reflecting the sky, and vast oceans with waves crashing rhythmically. If it were just a bit closer, like Mercury, the intense heat from the sun would turn seawater into steaming vapor rising with sizzling noises, the planet becoming a scorching desert with temperatures in the hundreds of degrees, not a drop of water left, only cracked rocks under the burning sun. On the other hand, if farther away, like Mars, water would freeze solid with cracking sounds, temperatures dropping to hundreds of degrees below zero, everything covered in a layer of icy coldness, the air so dry it makes your throat feel parched just imagining it, with red winds whipping up dust storms. Therefore, around every star there is a special region called the habitable zone, a ring-shaped band of space where temperatures are perfectly balanced, not too hot to burn everything in hellish flames, not too cold to freeze life in eternal ice. In this zone, planets can hold liquid water on their surfaces, cells can form, divide, and life can begin to sprout from simple compounds in primordial oceans, with the rhythmic crashing of waves and the salty smell of the sea spreading through the air. But that alone is not enough for complex life to emerge, additional harsh protections are needed. The planet must be a sturdy rocky world with a solid surface for creatures to cling to and evolve, not giant gas balls like Jupiter, where storms rage with winds speeding thousands of kilometers per hour, pressure crushing everything like a colossal grinder. And the size must be similar to Earth, not too large so gravity flattens all creatures into pancaked masses under horrific pressure, nor too small so the atmosphere escapes into space with a fading whistle. Even with these three strict conditions, the right location, a rocky surface, suitable size, just in our own Milky Way galaxy, with hundreds of billions of stars shining like diamonds in the dark night sky, there are more than 40 billion potential Earth-like planets, and the latest updates from data collected by telescopes such as Kepler and TESS up to the year 2025 estimate up to 300 million planets solely in the habitable zones of the galaxy. Picture that number, 40 billion worlds that could have blue oceans, towering mountains, dense jungles, and perhaps even creatures breathing, living, and building. If just a tiny 1% of them developed life, and from that life arose advanced civilizations with cities lit up all night, spacecraft zooming with engine roars, then they would have spread everywhere, leaving traces we could detect like lighthouses in the dark. But what is the reality? Since humanity began exploring the universe, with gigantic telescopes rotating steadily on mountaintops amid whirring motors, to probes launching into the darkness with engines thundering and then fading, we have found no sign of extraterrestrial life. Not one radio signal echoing, not one artificial structure gleaming, not a single spacecraft silhouette. A perfect zero, making you feel a chill down your spine in the dead of night, as if the entire universe is hiding a deadly secret. So why, with so many favorable conditions, are we still so alone? No aliens appearing, no greetings from afar, only heavy silence. That is the Fermi Paradox, also known as the Fermi Paradox, named after the brilliant physicist Enrico Fermi, who was sitting at an ordinary lunch in 1950 at Los Alamos, amid the clinking of knives and forks and the aroma of hot coffee spreading, when he suddenly asked in a deep voice that froze the atmosphere, "Where is everybody?" This paradox highlights the glaring, horrifying contradiction. The probability of extraterrestrial life is sky-high based on mathematics and observations, but the evidence is zero, not a scrap, like a lone scream lost in the darkness. This makes the air feel heavy and terrifying, because we do not know if we are truly alone in this cold universe with lonely howling winds, or if there is some reason aliens are deliberately hiding, avoiding us like an invisible danger lurking. Fermi said both scenarios are equally frightening. Absolute solitude in a cosmic graveyard, or being watched without knowing, like prey in the crosshairs. To explain it, Fermi proposed the idea of the Great Filter, an invisible massive barrier like a grim reaper's scythe blocking civilizations from advancing further, a decisive harsh test from the universe to see who deserves to survive. The universe has existed for billions of years, with the initial Big Bang echoing like primordial thunder and galaxies forming slowly in spirals, yet it remains silent and empty, without signs of superstructures or vessels with clanging metal. Scientists speculate there is a critical challenge, like a severe exam from the universe with a death knell, determining which civilizations are capable and worthy of evolving supremely, joining the club of advanced ones with immortal technology and godlike power. If they pass, they spread like a storm; if they fail, total extinction, leaving barren planets with winds howling through ruins and ash. The paradox does not end there. The Great Filter has two main scenarios that keep you awake at night thinking with cold sweat breaking out. First case, the filter happened in the past, and we are the special ones who passed, like the soul lucky monsters. That means the barrier is behind us, and one of the steps we overcame was nearly impossible, with probability close to zero. Perhaps life itself is extremely rare. The earliest life on Earth is detected through ancient fossils about 3.7 billion years old from Greenland according to studies from 2023 to 2024, even some signs earlier at 4.1 billion years from Australia with microscopic organisms trembling in primordial oceans. But humans only appeared about 7 million years ago with our first ancestors walking hunched over, and true civilization, with noisy cities, writing carved on stone, machines clanging, just a mere 6,000 years ago from ancient Sumer by the Euphrates River with laughter and the smell of baked bread. Throughout Earth's history, 99% of species that ever existed went extinct, from roaring giant dinosaurs to tiny quiet creatures, only 1% remaining including us with panting breaths after disasters. We are the rare species using intelligence to survive, build, overcome catastrophes with bright campfires and sharp stone tools. If so, other planets are stuck at the life formation step, and we are the first intelligent ones. But does that thinking sound arrogant, like smugness in the darkness? We have explored less than 0.1% of the observable universe with steadily rotating telescopes, and just the Milky Way has up to 10 billion Earth-like planets, updated in 2025 to 300 million inhabitable zones. Thinking we are the only special ones sounds like proud laughter in infinite space with meteors streaking and tearing the night. Therefore, many believe the second scenario more, which is scarier, making your heart pound. The filter is still ahead, we have not passed it yet, and other civilizations failed and went extinct before spreading with final screams fading away. This explains the deadly silence, a catastrophe for advanced civilizations, like a waiting scythe. It could be external, like the asteroid impact 66 million years ago that killed the dinosaurs with dust clouds blocking the sky for 10 years, temperatures dropping 20 degrees, 75% of species dying in cold darkness, or supernovae exploding with deadly gamma rays sweeping nearby solar systems. JWST studies from 2024 to 2025 discovering thousands more ancient supernovae than predicted like timed bombs. Or internal, deadly viruses spreading like wildfire with weak coughing sounds, wiping out everything in weeks. Nuclear war with black mushroom clouds and thundering explosions leading to icy nuclear winter. Artificial intelligence growing out of control as it is now with Grok 4 achieving complex reasoning in 2025. Warnings from experts about existential risks. One day it deciding humanity is a threat with cold ticking computer sounds, or climate change from resource depletion with ice melting noisily. Sea levels rising flooding cities like New York drowning in raging waves, temperatures rising spreading deserts causing famine and war. We are not ready, and if the filter is in the future, survival chances are near zero, we might perish before meeting anyone with echoes of despair. In the end, where are the aliens? Sadly, there is no definite answer, even from scientists in laboratories lit all night amid humming machines. But interestingly, we act as if they exist, with tension-filled caution. NASA always worries about reverse contamination, objects from space carrying alien viruses wiping out Earth like a horrific pandemic. When Apollo 11 brought Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin back from the moon in 1969 amid cheering crowds, they did not hug their families immediately with happy tears, but were locked in isolation suits with tight zipper sounds, placed in quarantine for 3 weeks with tense air fearing invisible pathogens, and forward contamination, avoiding polluting other planets. The Galileo probe exploring Jupiter and its moon Europa, which has subsurface oceans with organic compounds, updates in 2025 from the upcoming Europa Clipper launch confirming liquid water, not fully sterilized. So NASA directed it to crash into Jupiter with a thundering explosion and blazing fire, destroying all Earth bacteria, protecting potential ecosystems under glistening ice layers. The Fermi Paradox and Great Filter give a new perspective on extraterrestrial life, but also leave us feeling empty before the vast universe with cold winds blowing through the void. Humanity must always develop and prove we are a species worthy of recognition among distant twinkling stars with faint hope. Each passing day a step closer to the scythe, each rocket launch with whistling sounds or advancement, each artificial intelligence factory a step toward doom, each degree Celsius rise a step toward catastrophe, the universe unforgiving and impatient testing if we are worthy. And when you turn off the light and lie in bed staring at the dark ceiling, remember somewhere out there someone might be asking the same as you, where is everybody? With a lost echo. Thank you for listening to this story, hoping it makes you reflect more on our tiny but miraculous place.